Hello. My glasses are crooked. Oh my goodness. I look like the old librarian lady. Well, welcome. And my bun is crooked. I should go back to calling these messy bun Mondays, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. And welcome to the weekly oracle card reading and energy channeled messages from source, weekly, whatever you want to call this, gathering of peeps, whether you are live or watching the replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So who am I? This person with these crooked glasses and crooked bun. I'm Soul Coach Michele, your friendly neighborhood super woo, your soul coach and your manifesting maven, here dedicated to supporting your journey, your spiritual and manifesting journey, in whatever way I can. So welcome to this week's reading. If you're new around here, the channel is dedicated to all those things I just mentioned. So if you're interested in manifesting, there's some videos down in the playlists and stuff. But every Monday at 11 o'clock Central U.S. time, here I am with y'all, giving you some insight into the energetic weather of the week. And if you like what you're hearing, give us a thumbs up, click the bell, and subscribe so that you always know when I'm here, because I do all kinds of things. So if you haven't seen the 2022 reading yet, that's here. Don't leave, but watch this one because that's this week. But then when you're done, you can hop over there. It's kind of long, but don't worry. I'm not singing or dancing or putting on a show or anything. So make sure you kind of check out that video just as you move into closer and closer into 2022 for some guidance. Also, I'm excited for me, but it might be a little bit crunchier for you. But I'm really excited to say I only have 7 spots left for the private version of that reading. So if you want your own version, because that 2022 reading is more for the collective, but if you want your version just for you, that is based on what's going on with just you for next year, 7 spots left. And I haven't even sent out the replay of that. I have not even sent out emails or posted on social. That's going to start happening. So I hope that if you want your spot, you claim it. Okay. There's some bonuses that come along with it. And I'll be talking more about that later, but I do mention them in that other video too. Anyway, so the link is below if you want to grab your spot. What else? I'm looking at my notes because, over 40 brain. Let's see who's here. Good morning, Alicia. If you're here live with me during the live stream, go ahead and over here is your little chat box to chat with me. And if you are watching the replay, right down here is the comments. So if you're watching the replay, you can go ahead and chat down there. Let's see. I think that is okay. So let's get on with our stuff for today. For this week, it's kind of a wonky week. We're going to be building up. Oh, it's not really wonky. It just really is depending on whether you want it to be wonky or not. Going towards Friday. Friday is our full moon and our eclipse stuff starting to build energy today. It's not going to be as intense, but intensity will grow as we get further down the line. So that said, this is your weekly report for the collective. So you can decide, do I bring a spiritual umbrella? Do I wear my crystals this week? What are we doing to make sure that you manifest the best week ever? Okay. So every time, before we start the video, I channel a message and I take dictation from spirit. So last week's message was all about getting comfy in the uncomfortable, because we were kind of feeling like, I'm transitioning to the new version of me, which will really kind of come into full bloom, say next, right end of December, starting next year, because, we're finally kind of getting the icky, nasty shit off your wings, and you're going to be your beautiful butterfly, your beautiful peacock, all of the things next year. But we got to get there, right? So getting comfy with the uncomfortable, because it's not always comfy, like you work out, right? And then you come home and you're sweaty and gross, but you burned some calories and you strengthened your bod, but you got to go take a shower because you gross. Okay. So that's we were kind of like learning to be in the gross, because after you work out, you might have to run an errand. So that kind of thing. This week is about taking the shower, so to speak, in the sense of think of it this way. Normally, when you would hit a Friday full moon, you would be in your I'm big on manifesting with the moon. So usually the manifesting process or ritual, whatever you want to call it, if you're a magic person with a K, or if you're a manifesting person like me, or you're both, usually you do some sort of like gratitude ritual, harvesting ritual. You kind of like do your thankfulness and you kind of jot down what are all the things that I manifested since I into either the corresponding new moon or the last new moon. So like you kind of do that. But we got an eclipse happening. So it is time to put down like the chopping the wood and the fetching the water and chill. And what that kind of means is it's more processing time. So I would say you can be grateful in the processing, but I wouldn't do a lot of hardcore like manifestings and this and that, because what's going to be going on between now and Saturday, Sunday, and with this right smack in the middle, you're going to feel the buildup and there will be some revelations. Now, understand if you've been doing your work this year, because we've been called to do our works, our inner works this year, not work like where we're going to callous our fingers, but our inner work to open and embrace our hearts a whole lot more and be more compassionate and self-caring and really getting in touch and being honest with ourselves and all of that kind of thing, and being loyal to the value system that we have kind of shifted into after the last transformational 2 years. The thing is that what will have to happen whenever we do that, we got to make room and we got to process. So things may come to light, and think of it from the Taurus perspective. So you have like Scorpio underworld, but you have going towards Taurus perspective. So from that person, I'm talking a lot. They keep wanting me, and they made me write all this shit out, but now they're just feeding me information. I swear, like I could have made a cup of tea, y'all. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: when we do our inner work, we approach the lessons differently than when we don't. So, if you haven't gotten used to doing your work, you're probably going to be like, oh God. And the thing is that when we lean away from it, when you are clinging to things that don't work anymore, whether it be a relationship, a job, and relationship in all aspects. So that means romantic, platonic, family. That might mean I'm holding on to the lower vibration of this relationship. Work. I mean, I think that's kind of obvious with what's going on in the world today. People are letting go of the work that does not serve and starting to look for and embrace the purpose driven work for them. Also, there's relationships to your money, anything that has to do with how we feel cozy in ourselves, in our relationships with ourselves, with others, with work, the world at large, our homes, that kind of stuff. If you have been avoiding decluttering all of those things, whether they be inner or outer, it's going to be an interesting ride for you. If you are constantly looking for ways to declutter, and like I always say, when you have situations where you kind of realize there was trauma there, and trauma, there's a big swath of a scale of what that means. But regardless of that, when you have that kind of, people want to these days cling to their trauma and cling to it for whatever reason. But if you can process it, and that's what this whole like Friday is going to be about. And I'm going to say Friday and Saturday especially, because you'll have time to perceive and observe what's going on, because the moon usually illuminates stuff, but then the eclipse goes, I'm going to give you some quiet time to process what I just showed you. Okay, that's kind of where we're going with this. And in that processing, be okay. Like last year was be comfortable with the uncomfortable, or rather last week was be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable. This week, I know we got a lot of people out there, they're like, I really don't want any more effing feels, man. But this will be where you choose to sit in your feels. And don't think of them as I'm sitting in a pile of shit. Think of them, there's a lot that's happened in the course of your lifetime, especially in the transformational last 2 years. Sit in that. Sit with yourself. That's really what it is. Sit with yourself. We are trained normally to just like keep calm and carry on, that whole thought. But the fact is, right now, for us to get to this other side in a healthy way, you're gonna have to sit in your feels. Sit in your feels in observer mode. Sit in your fields in observer mode so that you can look and see, okay, here's the information that was illuminated to me. It might be shocking. It might be I kind of knew that and was avoiding it. But the fact is that what is it that I'm looking at? And I'm going to detach myself from an emotional charge if I can do that with grace and ease, because I want to take the wisdom, process all of this, and glean the wisdom so that while I am sitting in this quiet cave like atmosphere, learning from this illumination and then quiet time, I leave my cave and walk out and decide what I'm going to do. Now, I know I got a Star Wars fan here, right here, me and you, Alicia, right? The greatest example of this is in Empire Strikes Back when Luke goes in the cave and he's looking at Yoda and he's like, dude, what's in there? And he's like, only what you take with you. And then he gets in there and he like sees like Darth Vader's head, he chops it off, and then zappy zoodle, it shows up like his face is in there. And then later we all find out Luke is your father. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it by now, for God's sake, it's been like 40 years. You need to get on the stick. Anyway, but the fact is that all of a sudden he's like illuminated that dude, the universe's like worst bad guy is his daddy. Oh my God, right? And he's like, no, right at the end. But he knew about it and he ignored it back in the cave. So I'm going to encourage you, if you get something illuminated, don't ignore it. Don't wait for Darth Vader to like chop your hand off and then like wig out. No, if you can handle it, and maybe you should just stay on Dagobah and hang out with Yoda. Okay, so like if you're getting all these Star Wars analogies, here's the deal: make a better choice than Luke. And so when you go in the cave and you see the thing that's going to illuminate, don't ignore it. It is so in our nature to ignore the shit that doesn't feel good. If you can sit in the cave and just kind of be like, Darth Vader's my dad. Well, that kind of sucks. But maybe I'm being told this because there's still good in him and he will turn around and save us, which is what happened in the movie. Spoiler alert again. So that said, sit in the cave, sit in the field. If you could sit in the fields, if Luke could have sat in the fields, he never would have left Dagobah. It wouldn't have been a clusterfuck. Now, granted, there probably would not have been 4 more or however many more movies. But the fact is, for healthy healing, if he had just kind of stayed on Dagobah and hung out with Yoda and finished his training, he would have bypassed all this other shit that he went through. So what I'm explaining this for is, I'm going to encourage you, when you go in your cave this Friday and you kind of sit in your quiets into Saturday and you're like, whoa, that was something I didn't expect, but I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to be like, I see that and I don't want to deal with it, which I'm encouraging you to do, is to say, I see it. I'm going to process it and I'm going to sit in how I feel. And then when I leave, I can make a decision from a place of response rather than reaction. I'm going to come out of this cave and I'm going to head into 2022, even though, yeah, we still got a month and a half left, really. But I'm going to head over there in a more balanced perspective because I felt my feels, I gleaned my wisdom, and off I went. And I don't see, there's like pages here and Spirit's just like, talk about Star Wars. And I was like, all right. But bottom line, let go of the stuff that you've been avoiding. Embrace the space that you can fill with the wisdom you're going to glean from this experience. Okay. So that's what's going on. So I created a spread for today based on this. So we're going to pull 3 oracle cards today for this after our channel, based on the channel dictation or downloads that I just went through, because I guess they give me notes. It's like theater. You do your show and the director gives you notes. So anyways, the notes that I got after the channeled wisdom was, we're going to pull 3 cards. The first card's going to be, what do we need to know to support us through this time? Because I think it is a time that we need support. And what do we need to do for that? Other than self-care. I mean, I can't even talk about how much self-care I've been encouraging folks to do. If you think you're doing good with self-care, Up it like 18 times, okay? Just FYI, all the way through Christmas and into the New Year. And you can party on January 2nd and but you're probably going to keep your self-care rituals as you go through. You can be like, this feels good. The second card is going to be, what is the biggest message we need to focus on as a collective as we move through this week and this week's stuff? And then what medicine, and by medicine, I mean that healing energy. What is it that we need to embrace to make the most of this full moon eclipse experience? Okay, so that's what we're doing. Ah, that's funny. So apparently, Lizard Spirit wants to come out for, I'm thinking the overarching, and that I'm going to put him in the last spot there because that's what a question, and that's when he jumped out. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what Spirit said to do. So here we go. I'm just waiting for them to kind of go now. Poke it now. Okay, so wait, this one? Yes, for the first one, right? Yep. Okay. And we're going to go a little bit more. Wait, this one? Okay. And that. Oh, see? And we're back to the butterfly, just like we talked about last. I was talking about wings and gunky, nasty shit. Okay. So 2 of these are upside down and 1 is right side up. So the first question was, what do we need to know to support us through this time? Now, this is White Raven Spirit. Now, I love ravens because they're always wonderful messengers. And the White Raven is always indicative of source energy, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, and our connection to it. And in fact, I do want to, what they're telling me to share with you is that our connection, we seem to feel a lot of times is external, like, oh, I'm going to plug myself in and then I'll get the download. You have to remember you are consistently plugged into source energy because you are, in fact, source energy. Your source energy manifested into human form. So that's what White Raven is reminding you. And the whole thing is trust in the magic. And it comes in upside down because I think part of this whole thing is the eclipse is saying, hey, look at what you keep ignoring, forgot, or didn't know. Right? So it makes more sense that we have a couple of upside down cards here because we're being reminded right out the gate, trust in magic, trust in source energy, trust in your connection and that still small voice that will speak to you as you get quiet. Because a lot of this is going to be like, I kind of want to just sit in my space. I kind of just want to be in my cocoon. I want one last little minute before I have to go people after seeing what's in my cave. So that's kind of what you got to do. But remember, you are not alone throughout this whole thing. You have the collective energy, you have source energy. It's all right here talking to you. Okay. And then our next thing is, what is the biggest message we need to focus on? I can't make this shit up, people. This one came in right side up. Transformation is beautiful. How many times have I mentioned just today about we're going to get the gunk off our wings? This is your end game. Okay, this is your gold medal that you are focusing on. This is that cool medal that, when you go on runs or marathons or walks or whatever, that they are always like, this pretty medal you're going to get at the end. This is your focal point. This is your carrot. Remember, this is where you're going. That's why, what's our biggest message to focus on was the question. Here's your focus. Transformation is beautiful. This is where I am going. So even if it feels gunky and gross as you're processing, remember, you are still beautiful under all of that. You are still beautiful. You are still sacred. You are still source energy. You are still powerful. You are still magical. And you are still so, so loved beyond measure that you don't even know that the work you're doing is so aligned with source energy that you are this beautiful. Okay? That's your focus. Remember, come back and watch this video. You can watch it. It's like, what's the timestamp? I don't even know. We're right around 18 and a half minutes to 19 and a half minutes. You can get your quick pep talk when you're feeling like shit in the cave, okay? So remember, this is your focal point. Go get a picture of a butterfly, put it up on the wall, so when you feel like crap, you remember, you are gorgeous in this transformation. Even if you've been in your PJs for 3 days, it's okay. Okay, this is the end game right there. Now, last thing, what is the medicine? What is the medicine you need to embrace to make the most out of the full moon? I, again, cannot make this shit up. Upside down lizard. Now, I love me some lizard because they're super cute. Darren hates them. We used to have a lizard in the last spring. A lizard came in the house, and he was like only like this big. And I named him. I think I named him Herman or something like that. No, no. What did I name him? Lenny. I named him Lenny the lizard, and he would always come in my office because I didn't give a flip. I mean, we would try and catch him so we could put him outside, but it was like I didn't give a flip that he was in here. And of course, I live in the South. Like, when do you have lizards? You'd think that would happen in the desert. Anyway, so he was only about that big. And he came in here and he was looking around when I was meditating. When I was like, "So, hey, Lenny, how you doing?" And Darren wigs out and he YouTubes like how to make a lizard trap. And I was like, "Dude, just let him be. He'll disappear," which he did. And anyways, but he came in to remind me that dream the world into being. And I think when we're in the cave and we're processing shit, we forget because we get all intense and we're like, I'm processing my shit. I'm processing my emotions. I am processing my trauma. I am processing my ancestral crap. I think we forget that the wisdom that comes from processing the trauma. There is actually stuff that your ancestors gave you that was positive. you know, there's actually things that assist you in manifesting the life you want. And I think a lot of times when we get in the cave and we're processing, we forget to say to ourselves, what is it that I need to support myself here? So, like, usually, you get in there and you recognize what's going on, right? And you're like, okay, I see you. I'm going to call you by name. And then once you do that, you kind of say to yourself, okay, this may or may not feel good. Usually doesn't, because you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good because I'm in a cave and I don't want to be in a cave. I don't think anybody wants to be, but you're in there. And what do I need to do to make myself feel better? Oh, right. I'm not alone. I'm my own company. I am loved. I am fully capable of this transformation. I am fully capable of moving through this. I am fully capable of releasing any of the negative energy around whatever the situation is and gleaning and filling the rest of the space. Once I release all that stuff, that vacuum space, I am willing and able and claim the wisdom that comes in the processing process to fill that space so that it becomes an attraction for that which is my dream. But you gotta get into that space of I can have this and that. I can process and release and dream what will fill that space in the same time because I am the creator of my own universe. I am the creator of my experience. I am the creator of how I choose to experience a situation that might come up showing up like shit when the collective decides their energy is going to go into the turlet, right? But you get to choose how you want to experience it. That's what it is. Dream the world into being. So this comes right down to the whole Gandhi quote of be the change you want to see in the world. So the change that I would love to see in our world, everybody who watches this, is basically go in that cave and both release your stuff through observation and letting it go. And then through observation saying, okay, that was interesting. What do I want to keep that I learned from that? Where's the wisdom that I can put in my energy that levels up where I'm at so that I can say I learned that lesson? And then I can dream that world from that perspective into being. And what do I want the rest of the world to look like for me from that space? Okay. Be the change that you want to see in you want to see in the world. So that's it for today. I'm so proud of myself because it's only 24 minutes and 17 seconds. And I normally go long, and I wanted to make sure I stayed 30 minutes or under today. So that's it for today. So we had, what do you need to know to support through this time? Remember White Raven, the communication, your attachment to source energy, that the empowered you is the one that enters the cave. And don't be afraid because everything in there is what you need and what you need to process. And it's okay to sit in those feelings. It is okay. Remember, here's your focal point. What do we need to focus on? Transformation is beautiful. This is your end game. You're going to come out of this looking like a butterfly. It's okay no matter how crazy things get. That's your focal point. And your medicine for Friday is, remember, manage your energy appropriately as you're sitting in there because you're going to dream the world into being. So as you're doing that, remember, manage your stuff, do your thing, come out the other side gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. I love you so much. Remember, subscribe, click the bell, all that other goody stuff. Thumbs up. I got to remember all these things because you got to say all the things. Um, and the fact is that you are wonderful. You are beautiful. Everything is happening as it ought to. Just allow, turn your negative, release it away and keep the wisdom. That's this week. So our theme this week really is about not having to chop wood or carry water. It's sitting in the fields and processing them. Excuse me. Sitting in them, being with yourself, being at home in self as you experience these, okay? And moving into that and then coming out of the cave next, Sunday. And we'll talk about what happens next on Monday next week, right back here at 11 o'clock live stream, or you can check out the replay. And by the way, just a quick reminder, if you have not watched the 2022 collective reading on the channel, I think it's the top video. Number one. Number two, if you want your own 2022 reading with me, I only have 7 spots left, so you better book now, yo. Okay. Anyways, and the link is down here. So if you're watching the replay, comment below. And I love you so much. Have a great week. I'm sorry I'm a little snotty and I sound like this, but I will go and make sure I have tea next time. But I love you so much. Oh, hey, Jess. And I can't send you enough hugs. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And stay safe. All y'all up in the Northeast, it's snowing. Yay. And my Long Island friends, tornadoes. Just go in the basement. You'll be okay. I know that it's freaky, but my friends that I checked in, everybody said they were okay. So glad. Sending prayers to the ones that are cleaning up now. But anyways, stay safe, stay warm. Love you guys so, so much. And I will see you soon. I'll see you next week. And until then, I'll see you in the Vortex. Love you. Bye, y'all.